The plane shuddered, an ancient beast clawing its way to the ground, wheels grinding against tarmac under a sky black as grief itself. No stars, just the smeared glow of city lights bleeding through fog thick with regret. My fingers, gnarled and trembling from years of holding on, fumbled across the cracked screen of my phone mid-flight. No flare, no desperate emojis, just the raw, naked need carved into a single message. Flight lands at 10 p.m. Can someone pick me up? Buried my boy today. My only son, Daniel, gone in a desert half a world away. His body shipped back in a metal box that reeked of dust and finality. The funeral was a blow of bugles and folded flags, taps echoing in my bones long after the notes faded. I'd watched him grow, tall, stubborn, his father's fire in his eyes, though his father's been gone a decade now. Deployments tore holes in our years together, missed birthdays, silent Christmases, but I never complained. Mothers don't. We stitch the gaps with worry, with love that doesn't keep score. But this was the end of waiting. The weight of his flag, crisp and starched in my lap, pressed heavier than the casket I hadn't carried but felt in every fiber. I needed them now. Family, whatever scraps of it remained. The reply pinged before the plane even settled at the gate, sharp and cold as a blade. My daughter-in-law, Karen, her words slicing through the screen. We're tied up. Call a cab. Then my granddaughter, Lily, barely 19, chimed in. Should have booked ahead, Grandma. No warmth. No how are you holding up? No we miss him too. Just dismissal. Colder than the rain spitting against the plane's window. Each drop a small betrayal. I stayed at the screen. Cabin lights flickering like accusations. Passengers around me rustling bags, murmuring about dinners and weekends. Their lives untouched by the void swallowing mine. Me, an old woman, 73 years weathered, arthritic hands clutching that flag like it could anchor me, its stars mocking my solitude. You think blood ties you, holds you like a lifeline, but sometimes it's just a noose tightening slow. I typed back, fine. One word, no storm, no please, just their indifference mirrored back, sinking into the silence like venom. The airport sprawled endless, a maze of hollow terminals, fluorescent lights buzzing like a migraine that wouldn't quit. I shuffled through, past crowds hugging, kissing, holding signs with names scrolled in love. None for me. My wool coat, frayed at the cuffs, pulled tight against the chill seeping through cracks. I stepped into the night. Exhaust fumes choked the air, headlights sliced the dark, horns blaring in a chaos that matched the roar in my chest. But there, at the curb, was a van, not sleek, not polished, but battered gray, its doors sliding open with a groan that echoed my own. Not family. No. Strangers in faded fatigues, veterans from Daniel's unit, faces carved with the same grief I carried. They'd heard through whispers, support groups, a friend of a friend, and they showed up. A grizzled man, limping, took my bag without a word. A woman, silver hair pinned tight, hugged me so fierce I felt her heart beat through her jacket. We got you. She rasped, voice rough from cigarettes or screams or both. They didn't just drive me home. They walked beside me through the drizzle, shoulders brushing mine, a quiet guard against the world's indifference. That night, I didn't text again, didn't scream into the group chat, didn't beg for their guilt. I sat in my kitchen, linoleum cracked underfoot, fridge humming its lonesome song, the flag on the table staring back like a challenge. The house smelled of old coffee and dust, windows rattling in their frames as the storm outside grew teeth. My phone buzzed, not with apologies, but a news alert. Someone, maybe one of those vets, had tipped off a local station. The 11 o'clock broadcast, squeezed between traffic and lottery numbers, lit up my screen. Elderly mother returns from son's overseas burial, met not by kin but by comrades in arms. Grainy footage, caught by a bystander's phone, showed me stepping from the van, flag clutched like a lifeline, those veterans flanking me, rigid with respect. The camera lingered as I handed over a small envelope. Daniel's lost letter to me, words I'd scrawled on the back in a moment of clarity. When family fades, Honor steps in. The anchor's voice, steady but heavy, read it aloud. In a poignant tone, The grieving mother declined comment but left this note. My shaky handwriting filled the screen. No names dropped, but that group chat? They knew. Oh, they knew. I could see it. Karen's coffee spilling hot across her lap, Lily's phone slipping from her hands, folks clattering in distant dinners as the truth hit like a slap they couldn't dodge. The group chat stayed silent, a wound festering in the quiet. No sorrows, no calls, just a void where families should have been. But privately, Lily messaged, "Was that you on the late news?" I left it unread, let it dangle like a threadbare apology. Woes spread like sparks on dry grass, neighbors whispering over sagging fences, church friends sharing the clip on their feeds, comments piling up. Shame on her family. Who leaves a mother like that? Behind their locked doors, Karen and Lily scrambled, painting over cracks with lies. Karen posted first, a faded photo from decades ago, me holding Daniel as a toddler, her face cropped, and later, an afterthought. Caption, blood is thicker than water. Always. I didn't heart it, didn't rage. The comments did that for me. Strangers, furious, where were you when she needed a ride? Shays stacked like kindling, not by me, but by those who tasted abandonment's bitter edge, who knew the sting of empty promises. Karen tried again, a direct text, didn't know it was such a big deal. Could have said more. I read it, chest tightening like a vice, laughed hoarse into the empty room, the sound bouncing off peeling wallpaper, as if burying your child needs a megaphone, as if watching doubt swallow his name wasn't scream enough. I typed, you chose. So did I sent it, deleted the thread, let the silence bury them instead. The calls came then, local radio, papers, a community TV station begging for the story. At first, I brushed them off, voice cracking over the line, not interested. But silence protects the wrong people. When the station called again, asking for a mother's voice, not just a widow's, I said yes. Not for pity, for truth. The interview room was stifling, air thick with stale coffee and sympathy that felt like damp wool. The MIC clipped to my blouse like a badge, the host's eyes soft but piercing. What went through your mind at the airport? I paused, breath jagged, then let it spill. I laid my boy to rest with dignity, came home to echoes. I told it all. The single text, the replies colder than the wind outside the terminal. The veterans who bridged the gap family tore open. Didn't name names, didn't need to. Kin isn't born, I said, voice steadying. It's earned in the showing up. The segment aired at 8 p.m. 7 minutes of me, raw but unbroken. No music, no montage, just truth laid bare. The response was a flood. Messages from mothers who'd buried sons, daughters, hearts hollowed out like mine, veterans offering rides, meals, ears to listen. But the group chat, it splintered. Karen renamed it updates only. Lily left without a word. I archived it, buried it deep in my phone like a grave I'd never visit. It didn't end there. A letter slipped through my mailbox. No return address, just neat handwriting. Saw your story. Lost my daughter last year. You gave me strength. Then more. Cards, emails, a bereavement group reposting the clip, a Gold Star parents page sharing the segment far and wide. A vigil bloomed, unprompted. In the park down the street, a forgotten patch of overgrown grass, benches splintered, paths slick with mud from endless rain. Candles flickered against the wind. Faces I didn't know murmuring prayers. An old man with a harmonica playing a tune that knifed through my chest. They weren't just mourning. They were standing for me. For every parent left curbside in life's storms. I lingered at the edges, scarf wrapped tight, rain in my hair, watching. And there, half hidden by a gnarled oak, Karen, arms crossed, face tight. Lily beside her, eyes down. They didn't approach, didn't speak. Just saw the bridge I'd built without their stones. Next morning, Karen's text, never thought it'd blow up like this. I stayed, rage bubbling like acid, fingers trembling. That's lost for you. It either crushes or connects. You crushed. Didn't send it. Blocked her instead. This wasn't haze anymore. Weeks blurred, my potch piling with casseroles from strangers, letters stacking like lifelines. You're not alone. But I couldn't stay still, couldn't drown in grief's undertow. So I built something. The Anchor Network. For parents returning from funerals alone, airport pickups, hot meals, listening circles that didn't judge. I taped a flyer to the senior center's bulletin board. That dim hall reeking of mothballs and faded hopes. Volunteers flooded in. Retired nurses, empty nesters, a mechanic with hands like sandpaper offering his truck. First week, we met a father at the bus depot. Sign bold, "You're not alone." A passerby's photo of it went viral. Community boards, then newspapers, then podcasts. From solitude to solidarity, one mother's mission. Karen called, voicemail trembling. Didn't realize, can we help? I deleted it. Peace demanded it. Some wounds don't heal with apologies. They heal when you stop bleeding for those who watched you drown. Lily sent a donation, anonymous, but postmarked her zip. I cashed it, poured it into supplies, blankets, thermoses, signs. No thanks needed. This was bigger than their guilt. They called it a quiet revolution. The local paper ran a front-page spread. Me at an Anchor event, arm around a father fresh from burying his daughter. His eyes raw but grateful. Headline, Heartbreak to Haven. That night, a town hall for grieving families. In a cavernous room with sagging flags and chairs scraping like accusations. I stood at the lectern, spotlights harsh, crowd silent. I told the story, not with venom but with weight. Came home empty-handed, but not empty-hearted. Spoke of Daniel, his crooked grin that lit up rooms, letters smudged with sand, his promise whispered years ago. Mom, don't let the quiet win. I hadn't. Stepped down to handshakes, a veteran gripping mine. My wife, you pulled her through. In the back, by creaking exit doors, Karen and Lily, uninvited, faces shadowed. I nodded once, a stranger's courtesy. No bridges rebuilt. Punishment wasn't rage, it was their void. Now blooming elsewhere, symbolic gestures couldn't erase the sting of their absence. The way they'd left me stranded at the edge of grief. But standing there, surrounded by those who'd chosen to show up, I felt a shift, a quiet, unshakable resolve. Their silence had pushed me to this, to a purpose larger than their neglect. The Anchor Network grew faster than I'd imagined. Within a month, we had teams in 3 counties, volunteers who knew loss had seen it up close, ready to meet grieving parents at gates, depots, anywhere the world felt too heavy. A retired teacher donated a van, painted with our logo, an anchor entwined with a ribbon, simple but steady. A diner owner offered free coffee for our meetups, her own eyes red from a son lost years ago. Every pickup was a small defiance against abandonment, every sign held high. You're not alone, a promise kept. The stories poured in. A widower met at dawn with a thermos of tea, a mother driven home to a hot meal waiting on her porch. Each one chipped away at the ache in my chest, not erasing it but reshaping it into something I could carry. The media didn't let go. A national outlet picked up the story, a morning show calling for an interview. I hesitated, the weight of Daniel's flag still heavy in my hands at night, but I agreed. The studio was brighter than the local one, cameras sleek, the host's smile practiced but kind. What made you start this? She asked, leaning forward. I swallowed, the words clawing up. I buried my son and came home to nothing, but others showed up. I wanted to be that for someone else. The segment Aid to Millions, my face, lined, tired, but unbroken, beaming into homes across the country. Letters flooded my mailbox, emails stacked in my inbox. My brother never came home. Thank you for being there. I was alone too. Your story saved me. The Anchor Network's website, built by a volunteer's tech-savvy son, crashed from the traffic. Donations trickled in. Small, heartfelt sums, enough to keep the van running, the signs printed, the meals warm. Back home, the group chat lay dead, a relic of a family that wasn't. Karen tried once more, a text. Can we talk? I didn't know how to handle it. I read it, fingers hovering, the old ache flaring like a phantom limb. I typed, you didn't need to know. You just needed to be there. Sent it, then blocked her number. Lily mailed a card, her handwriting childish and uneven, I'm sorry, Grandma. I didn't understand. I kept it. Not for forgiveness, but as a reminder of what I'd overcome. Their apologies, late and limp, couldn't undo the moment I'd stood alone at that curb, rain soaking through my coat, flag heavy as my heart. The vigils kept happening, unprompted, in that muddy park and others like it. People I'd never met held candles, sang hymns, shared stories of their own losses. At one, a girl, maybe 15, sang Amazing Grace, her voice cracking on the high notes, and I gripped the flag tighter, tears burning but not falling. They weren't just mourning with me. They were building something, a community of the left behind, the ones who knew the weight of empty arrivals. I saw Karen there once more, lingering at the edge, her face softer now, but I didn't approach. She'd made her choice, and I'd made mine. The Anchor Network was my family now. Strangers turned kin by shared scars, by the act of showing up. Months passed, and the movement grew. We trained volunteers in 6 states, set up a hotline for grieving parents to call, day or night. A local college offered a meeting space, its walls lined with photos of our pickups, signs, smiles, hands clasped in gratitude. The media called it a movement, but to me, it was simpler, a lifeline, thrown to those drowning in silence. A second national feature ran, this time a documentary short, following me to a pickup at a rural airport. The father we met, his eyes hollow from burying his son, clutched my hand like I was his mother too. "Thank you," he whispered, and I nodded, throat tight. The camera caught it all, but I didn't watch the final cut. I didn't need to. I lived it. Karen and Lily faded further, their attempts at reconciliation growing faint. A Christmas card, a donation receipt, a whispered rumor they'd moved to another state. I didn't care. My porch stayed full. Flowers, letters, a quilt stitched by a veterans group, each square embroidered with the name of someone lost. The Anchor Network opened a small office, a donated space with creaky floors and a coffee maker that never stopped. Volunteers became friends, then family, their stories weaving into mine. A nurse who'd lost her daughter to a roadside bomb drove the van now, her laughter a balm. A widower, his son gone in the same war as Daniel, handled our books, his quiet precision a comfort. Closure didn't come with a grand gesture, no tearful reunion or apology that fixed it all. It came quietly. One night in my living room, the flag folded neatly on a shelf, no longer a weight but a reminder. I was folding pamphlets for the next pickup, rain drumming the roof like a heartbeat. The doorbell rang. A young couple, both veterans, dropping off blankets and a thermos of soup. They hugged me, fierce and unasked, like we'd known each other forever. And we had, not by blood but by truth, by the shared language of survival. I was no longer the woman at the cab, waiting for a ride that never came. I was the anchor, the harbor, the one who showed up. To the next mother, father, soul clawing through grief's wreckage, I'd say this: don't wait for those who left you stranded. Build the bridge they couldn't. And when they watch from the sidelines, their screens lit with your triumphs, they'll see it, too late, but they'll see. You'll walk forward, not alone, never again, anchored by those who chose to stay.